left out, and there has been hue and cry on why they were not appointed. People saying that the president contravened the constitution. Let's listen to what he said in as far as the responsibility of those that hold public offices or state offices, like some that are here.
All of those that are honored with a service to the nation, in the judiciary, the executive, or the legislature, that we have a collective duty to service the people of Kenya, all 50 million of them, both here at home and abroad. We are one government, bound together by our common duty to deliver the hopes and dreams of Kenya.
Right, and of course there's another clip where he is talking about that he cannot ignore reports from state agencies or state organs. And Fred, let me begin with you, because the opinion is divided on what the president did. The Chief Justice says that herself and the Judicial Service Commission at this point in time have no role in ensuring that the judges are appointed or not appointed, because the process already left their side of action.
Absolutely.
But if the president really has those intelligence reports that would indicate that certain officers are not fit to hold office, at this point in time, what should he do?
Thank you, Sam. I believe that the judges, the 6 of them who are not gazetted, for that matter not appointed, are all suitable, capable, and competent. I do believe that, because they have reached to that level where they have practiced to that level. However, Kenyans have doubt in their personal integrity, because that could be the only reason why the president might not have appointed them. Remember, the Constitution requires that the selection shall be done on the basis of personal suitability other than the competency and capability. Number 2,
who is to determine that suitability?
The suitability is determined by both the president and JSC.
No.
JSC in their interviews, they also have documentation and reports on the candidates they are interviewing before them, and they are able to determine at that level whether that candidate is suitable to hold that office in terms of personal integrity, because they can request for those integrity reports. Nothing stops them. Number 2, I want us to refer to the Article 166, and we look at it in textualite form. The word appoint, because the job of JSC is to recommend to the president for appointment. Mm-hmm. And the use of the word appointment in Article 166 refers that the president is the final person who has a say whether the judges who have been nominated becomes judges, or whether the names that have been nominated become judges or not. That is a fact that we have to deal with. However, if the president...
How does he make that decision? Because
I'm coming there.
Wait a minute, Fred.
Remember, I started by saying...
Recently, Chief Justice Martha Koome, a name was recommended to the president by the Judicial Service Commission, transmitted it to Parliament for approval hearings. Then Parliament approved her nomination, the president appointed, and she was sworn in.
Correct.
So what role would the president have played in saying, no, this is not the right candidate?
I want to believe, because that's why I started by saying, I have no doubt about the suitability and competency of the 6 judges. I have no doubt about that. However, what we have not been told is what exactly made these 6 names not to be appointed. That is what Kenyans want to know. And one of the reasons that we could speculate is because of personal integrity. And I've referred you to the provisions of law that require that the selection shall be done on the basis of personal integrity and suitability. Now, when I listened to the president, he said that he must also abide by the same law. Remember, the president is the only person who receives extra intelligence report on a daily basis. Could it be that he has got some intelligence report on the personal integrity of these judges? We have not been told that. Mm-hmm. I believe that Kenyans have a right to know that. Now,
okay.
Lastly, because I can see Dr. Amalo is struggling on his seat. Lastly, is that these judges, they are going to serve Kenyans. And the moment the 6 are not appointed, there's already a deficiency. What we want as Kenyans is to see that completion. So the completion should be done in such a way that if the judges have an issue, then that issue should be tabled on the public so that the public know. And there are also procedures of disciplining such judges or forming a commission inquiry to look into them. If they are found fit from the allegation that is before them, then they can still continue and serve. And I want to put it clear because I know people misquote some of the time we appear on TV. I'm not saying the judges should not be appointed. Okay. All I'm saying, Sam, is if there's an issue that is stopping their appointment, that issue, the president can make it public.
You referred us to, just a moment, Dr. Omar, you referred us to Article 166
Absolutely.
of the Constitution, and it says that the president shall appoint, Part B of that article, all other judges in accordance with the recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission. So before I get back to you, please ponder on that and tell me what more the president can do within that article. But Dr. Chris Omala, you've been itching to respond. What's your take on the failure to appoint these 6 judges, and what do you think needs to happen now?
It is unfortunate that Fred, being a lawyer, is misleading the public and he's misinterpreting. When you read Article 166, 1B, it is clearly stipulated that the president in this case is actually conveyor belt. Conveyor belt in the sense that he has to appoint, and the word being used shall, the president shall appoint the judges in recommendation with the JSC. We were fighting so much for purposes of having independence of the judiciary. We have 3 arms of government, and the principle of separation of powers. Judiciary should remain independent. And that's why the president, in his wisdom, when Koome was recommended by the JSC to become the Chief Justice, subject, the word is subject to the approval by National Assembly, the president had no any power. He had to append his signature. This will enhance independence of the judiciary. When it comes to the judges, the president has done it wrong. When it is wrong, we should say it's wrong. When it is right, we should say it is right. Those 6 judges,
so if
JSC, if there was any report that is contrary to the integrity of these people, it should have been submitted to the JSC, the Judicial Service Commission. And in any case, if there is any controversial report, we have a mechanism of removing a judge. There should be a petition that comes to Parliament. They look at it, they can put a tribunal. These judges can be removed. So the president cannot come and for one reason or another not to appoint the 6 judges. And I'm humbly requesting His Excellency the President, please appoint those 6 judges. Because as per Article 166, he has contravened the Constitution, which he said he'll uphold and defend. So we can't come here and mislead the public.
Okay.
The president has no otherwise. If there's any reason, and by the way, Sam, these people are still serving. They are still judges, some of them in the High Court. Why is it there is no petition of removal? These people should be given an opportunity to defend themselves. We can't rely on hearsay. Sometimes back, the president came to Parliament with a list of those people that he had been given a list by the ESCC, that they were corrupt. Some of the CSS were put aside. What happened? There was nothing. So we can't rely on these reports.
All right, Honorable Wanga, of course, he talks about the 6 already serving judicial officers. 4 of them are the High Court, and then one, Judith Omange, is the Registrar of the High Court, has been in that position since 2012. And then Evans Makori is currently a Chief Magistrate, has been in the judiciary for quite a bit of time, actually more than 20 years. But if you're successful and you win the Homa Bay seat, you will become the governor with executive power. And there are many things that will come to you that require your procedural action. So if you are in that position, a president who is required by the Constitution to appoint, yet to have certain information that the public does not know, probably it's confidential, how are you supposed to treat it? If you are the president today, what would you do?
For me, I think the way I see this matter, and it's easy, of course, to bash the president. It's a very, very easy path to take. But he's a president who even got his, election nullified and still said, let's go on and have a repeat election. For the president to have pondered this matter, because this matter has been pending
2 years.
For a while.
Since July 2019.
For 2 years.
It's really been, for him to have pondered on this matter for this long, there must be something that is really, really serious. That is my perspective on the matter. And right now, I think what should happen, just like when the president does not assent to a law, he returns it to Parliament with a memorandum.
Which is allowed in law.
And says, this is the reason I have not assented to this law because of ABC. What the president should do, he should give a memorandum to the Chief Justice stating these issues that have constrained him. Because really, if this was an easy matter, I think there was really nothing too difficult that, you know, to just say, okay, we are appointing all the judges, and if you want to remove them, you know, let's begin a process of removal if there's any other issue. So me, I believe there is an issue that is really constraining, that should be communicated to the Chief Justice via memorandum. And if the Chief Justice and the JSC decide, it should be made public so that Kenyans can weigh whether it was worth, you know, the whole thing that has happened.
No, it's okay, Dr. Chris Omale.
And I'm not, and I'm very conversant. And Chris, you know, you have an opinion on this matter, and you've expressed it very eloquently. But not everybody has to agree. And 166, you know, B is clear to all of us. But that is why we are saying there must be a very, very constraining issue that must be made public to Kenyans so that we know, we weigh.
With due respect to Honorable Wanga.
You know, what is...
No, Dr. Chris Omale, I want us to take it because...
referring to presidential assent.
No, I know what I'm talking about, Wamalo.
166 is not provision.
No, I know
Let's
that
listen to
only
Dr.
too well.
Boni Halwale, Honorable Wanga. Dr. Boni Halwale, because she talks about that compelling reason why the president would not
it should be communicated.
It has been communicated.
What is...
To the JSC.
Just a moment. Let's shift the conversation to Dr. Boni Halwale. What is that this information has been channeled to the Judicial Service Commission? We don't know whether that's for certainty. But is it possible to do it within the law? That, yes, this information be received, but then again, where do you find the safety in law as it is?
The president is pursuing an avenue that is not open to him. Under the Constitution of Kenya, the president does not have the option of what Honorable Gladys Wanga is talking about. Honorable Wanga, the appointment of judges is not done in accordance with the standing orders of Parliament. It is standing orders of Parliament that give the president the option of going back to Parliament with the memorandum that we are talking about. The appointment of judges is final once a decision has been taken by the Judicial Service Commission. If the president had any intelligence, during the time of the interviews of the Judicial Service Commission for these judges, that information surely should have been passed to them so that they are properly informed before they make a decision on them. Having failed to do that, the president has no option whatsoever but to appoint those 6 judges. Let me tell you, since you seem to be defending the illegality by the president, if you have the opportunity to mention to him in quiet, tell him he's walking a very interesting path. If, for example, argument's sake, Gladys Wanga, the Chief Justice who is supposed to swear in the president was to receive some intelligence, and then she says, I am not going to swear in the just elected president because I've received some other intelligence. Wouldn't she be saying she is sufficiently compelled to protect what President Uhuru has been referring to as the sovereignty of the people? The president is being reminded on this panel and everywhere by more serious authorities than Fred Ogango. Fred, you must have been a student of the Attorney General, because the Attorney General is the one who seems to be carrying the same legal thinking that you are saying that the president should disclose to Kenyans why he is not appointing those people. Which constitution are you reading when you ask the president to disclose before he appoints the names? Is it the Constitution of Kenya? And we would like lawyers to know, Sam Kituko, that they are not the only ones who read law. So I would like when a lawyer speaks to an article in the Constitution, he should do something more inspiring, namely to try and interpret. But when you just read it And then in the process of attempting to interpret, you say the kind of things Fred is saying. It is very dangerous for your profession.
Fred, are you a lawyer?
Sam, the question
Are you a
that we
lawyer?
have is not whether I'm a lawyer or not. The question that we have is, why did the
No,
president...
I'm asking that for the sake of clarity.
Why,
because
we want clarity.
Why,
I've
did
referred
the-
to you
why,
as a lawyer.
why,
It's
why didn't the president appoint the 6 judges? And in
That's what he told me.
JSC, in performing their function, there are 2 principles that guides them. The principle of looking at the competitiveness and the gender. In that principle, there's nowhere that they talk
Sorry,
about
what did
the
you say?
integrity.
Competitiveness?
What are you talking about now?
Competitiveness and what we call the gender principle. However, in the Act,
I'm not sure about that.
that,
because
that is there.
No,
That
no,
is there
no,
in judicial
just a
service.
moment.
Sam Kidogo, please help us.
Just a moment,
This is
Fred.
too much now.
You know,
This is too much.
No.
Sam,
Just-
Now I know he's not a lawyer.
Article
Fred,
172.
Fred,
When
just
you
hold on.
read Article 172,
Let me read for you Article 166, Sub-Article 2.
Yes.
Each judge of a superior court shall be appointed from among persons who, 1, hold a law degree from a recognized university or advocates of the High Court of Kenya, or possess an equivalent qualification in a common law jurisdiction, but B, possess the
true.
experience required under Clause 3 to
Absolutely.
6 as applicable, irrespective
Absolutely.
of whether that experience was gained in Kenya
Absolutely.
or another jurisdiction of Commonwealth, have a high moral character, integrity,
Correct.
and impartiality.
now, that is Article 166. But I'm talking about the institution that conduct interview for judges, the Institution of Judicial Service Commission. And Article 172, look at sub-article 2, the principles that JSC look at. You know, Boni Kalwale is very quick to dismiss what I'm saying, but himself, he doesn't know the components of what guides that. Now,
What
in
guides
that
what?
component, the principle of competitiveness is a key. However, in the qualification, we look at all those integrity. So what I'm saying, and I want it to be clear, I have not said that those judges are not fit. I have said they are fit. What I said, in fact, the JSC in their own motion can move a motion to look at the conduct of those judges.
Okay.
They can get a petition from outside to look at the conduct of those judges. But the president, the reason why I asked the president to do that, because the president has been under pressure. The pressure the president is under is that, why is it that the president is not appointing the 6 judges? And that's why Honorable Gladys Wanga told us that it is so easy to bash the president.
Okay.
And in my view, I think it is in the interest of the public to understand why the 6 qualified and suitable judges, in my view, were not appointed. That is only
Is it
possible,
possible
through
to
following
do that
the channels.
without compromising their or damaging their character?
It is possible to do that without damaging their character. In fact, that's why I'm saying the recommendation would be now JSC itself to look at the conduct. If there are any reports that are alleging that they did something, they can look at that and make it in a way that
Okay.
it is sorted out.
All right.
But just 1 minute, as I said,
Fred, we need to take a break.
okay.
Because Article 172 that you're referring to, Sub-Article 2, in the performance of its functions, the Commission shall be guided by the following. I would the principles. First, competitiveness and transparent processes
Correct.
of appointment of judicial officers and other staff of the judiciary. And part B, the promotion of
Absolutely.
gender equality. So those would be
I hope
principles.
Bonnie will take those.
Principles, not qualifications, right?
Principle
Okay, let's
guides
take a short break.